Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining me every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. Thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do share it with your friends and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today, Mayur is back with us with a very interesting topic. He'll be speaking about the paranormal. Welcome, Mayur.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Om Namah Shivaya.
yeah. Already people are very excited. They've been waiting for quite some time to hear you. So thanks for taking out time. I know that you travel
Sure.
quite a bit, and you're busy with your books as well, and now your paintings as well. Thank you for sparing time with us, because not only do the viewers, but I also really enjoy the sessions that we have with you.
True. Thank you very much. This always comes to me as different. Firstly, can I just say, Meena, to you, thank you very much. To Ned, to your son as well, who are facilitating this process. And to some of the people I know now who always regularly come and, they make the podcast very,
Yes,
very interesting. So to all the
absolutely.
viewers here, Har Har
Yeah.
Mahadev.
Har Har
Om
Mahadev.
Namah Parvati Pataya Har Har Mahadev. And I enjoy this because this doesn't come to me, Meena, as, oh, I'm invited to some
Yeah,
podcast. I swear to God, I just feel very happy like I'm at somebody's house.
yeah.
There are a lot
And
of guests
having
there.
having
You've
tea.
invited, having tea, and some in the cold season, some garam pakodas, and
And last time,
having a nice,
yeah,
yeah, and having a
last time,
nice chat.
yeah,
Having,
yeah.
yeah. Last time, what?
Last time your mom joined us, and everybody was so
Yes.
happy to see her.
She's been saying, when are you coming? I'm in, by the way, for the viewers, I just told you, Meena, I'm in Mumbai at my wife's place, and the whole setting is different. The Wi-Fi is better, so
Yeah,
hopefully
so
it should
much.
be smoother. But my mom is alone there in Pune,
Oh,
and she's like, no, no, you spend time here, you come tomorrow. But she
yeah.
was a little flustered because she's alone. She's 76.
Ah,
She
yes,
and
yes,
we just lost dad some time back. So,
yes.
but she's aware that I'm here because I want to do this session as well, and I'm sure she's watching it on the link that has been shared. Otherwise, I'm going to
Yeah,
share it
I
with her.
sent my mom also the
So,
link.
oh, great,
So all
great,
the
great.
mothers
And
are
my
watching.
my my regards to, I know,
Yeah,
my regards. When I last time told her that I'm doing a session on black magic, no, she
yeah,
was like, "What? What?" I said, "Black magic. How do you know all this?" Because we stay together in the same house,
yeah.
and I don't know. It comes,
Because
whatever,
she still
because she
thinks you're
doesn't
a
know what
child.
I. I know, I know. She's
Somewhere,
like,
somewhere.
this boy is still,
Yeah,
this boy is going to talk
talking
about black
small.
magic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, but you know what? Black magic is different, but this is something
yeah.
which has lived within me since I was a kid, no? Because
Yes,
my native place is in Karnataka, a small little village. I still have a house there,
yeah,
and certain things we would listen to here too. So I'm looking forward to the session, Meena, and all
thank
to all of the people, especially Karthik.
you.
I remember Karthik is a regular viewer, so my pranams to Karthik and many others who regularly watch your show. Yeah,
Yeah.
I okay, Karthik,
He
you
says,
got
I
a hold
finally
of
got hold of
my
Sir's
book.
book. He says, I finally got
Yeah,
hold of Sir's book.
so
Yet to start reading, though.
yeah,
Okay.
do that. And Karthik, lovely to meet you, man. At least through Meena's session, I am able to see you and say hi to you. So looking forward to this a session on paranormal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mayur,
Yeah,
what I wanted to ask you is, see, earlier, we used to sort of say that our generations before us, they used to have these old superstitions and, folklore, and they used to, which used to, when conveyed to us as children, later on, it would move on to something like, in our case, it would become something like paranormal. You start believing in certain
mm,
things. If a sort of a
yeah,
leaf, flutters, or a branch hits your window, you might be inclined
mm,
thinking that there is a spirit trying to convey some sort of a message to you. So
yeah,
there are
yeah,
times, because see, everything is an extension of what we grew up with.
yeah,
So if you could
yeah.
start with that, Mayur.
Sure. Um, I think to start with, I would say that firstly to all the viewers who probably are seeing me for the first time, my namaskar to you, and very formally to Meena, to you as well for inviting me. Um, I think that in India, I'm not sure about other countries. We have grown up with grandparents,
Yes.
and we have grown up. I'm not speaking about everybody, but I can say about me. And others can relate. We've grown up with summer vacations where we've gone to our native place, if you remember, right? Not every, like, we were in middle class, where we didn't have the luxury of going to out of India
Resorts.
station. So we
Yeah.
would go typically to Goa, to our Kuladevi, and Deva, which is Mangeshi temple. And then we would go to Shantadurga and then go to a native place from Goa to further down. And why I'm bringing this is because those evenings, we would sit sometimes and we would listen to our own uncles and aunts talking about things which today are called paranormal.
Yeah.
And I remember that even as a kid, thanks to them or no thanks to them, walking out of the small little cottage in a small little village in the dark, because there were no street lights at that time, okay, used to be thanks to them. It used to give us so much of fear and shivering. And we used to go out because we had to go to some place to bring some ice cream from a shop.
Yes.
It used to
Yes.
be on the main road, and we used to go
Yeah.
down somewhere. Our house used to be somewhere. But I remember that um, lot of stories we used to listen to. I'm not joking. There were certain stories which was not about which were not about just our place where we stayed, but even places across that region. I
Yeah.
remember one story where we were told that um, there used to be a spirit which used to protect the acres of land in which my uncle used to stay. Okay, and that that entity was a lady who
Yeah.
used to her presence used to be felt sometimes, and on Amavasya time they used to keep some sort of food for her in a plate,
Yeah.
and if it was not done, then they would actually find thousands of ants
Yeah.
thousands of ants coming into the house, which was
Yeah.
very abnormal,
Yeah.
or should I say in today's context, paranormal. And
Yeah.
this is not a joke. They used to say that they used to suddenly find ants coming in, ants.
Yeah.
And it was not that they were attacking and all, but suddenly, when you find ants in lakhs or thousands in your house, it's going to be uncomfortable. It
Yes.
was a
Yes.
sign. It was a sign that, hey, you've forgotten. And then that auntie used to go out and then, oh my God, today I forgot. And then she would put some stuff, and then she would keep that plate near a
Yeah.
tree where it is supposed to be the abode of that particular entity, who's a protector.
Yeah.
And remember, what I'm saying is, today when we watch YouTube videos and we watch so many paranormals, I think somewhere I remember as a kid, feeling and connecting to this paranormal energy, which
Yeah.
was actually a positive thing. हम कहते हैं भूत है, भूत आया, भूत आया. This is just what we see in the Ramsey movies. Bhoot,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, even the paranormal spirits must be smiling at watching these things. Yeah, what is
Yes.
this? Yeah, they may be saying we are not that bad looking here.
Yeah.
They were energies.
Yeah.
They were energies
Yeah.
which were you know there are so many beautiful things or not beautiful things where they were supposed to do their duty of protecting that particular parisar,
Yeah.
that area. And if they're not, they will show to you through actions. They will
Yeah.
instigate certain things to happen. So yeah, and by the way, I'm hearing Karthik's asking about where I am from. I'm from a place called Shirali,
Yeah.
not Bruce Lee, Shirali, okay, which is in Karnataka, very close to a place called Murdeshwara, and we have a mutt there, Chitrapur Mutt, and my
That's
cottage is exactly opposite to Mahamaya Ganpati Devasthana, which is very just opposite. So that's where I'm from. But I feel, Meena, that um, paranormal is not negative all the time.
yeah.
It's very very subjective how you look at
Yeah.
it. But that's where I leave it, and we can continue with
You
your next
know,
question as well.
for us, when we used to go to Kerala for our holidays, see what we would
Yeah.
hear of was, there are these huge coconut palms, and also there are other date palms. So what they used to say is
Mm,
that that is the abode of the yakshi. you know so
mm,
yakshi
mm,
is a
mm,
female ghost, and she
mm,
comes in the night. So at that time when we were children, we were quite scared because they would describe her as coming in white, with hair all loose, so just like you said, because see, Kerala also, as you said, is a very dark place at night,
Yeah.
so they would have, at that time, we're
Mm,
talking about when we were children. So just like you
sure.
said, the fear of the darkness would create a lot of imagination, in our minds as to, what lies beyond, and this was a story that
Absolutely.
everybody was, scared of, because I remember there were so
Yeah.
many movies made on this character, you know, and
Mm, mm,
also that if anyone, sat under the tree, that person would become possessed. So there were times
mm,
when,
mm.
some of our maids, had to undergo the whole process of exorcism just to get the yakshi out of her, system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot
Yeah.
of,
But
yeah, go
Meena,
ahead.
yeah, but Meena, I'll tell you something. What I like about your show is I love the conversations we have because, and I would love. I'm looking forward to even others joining in with their
Yeah,
inputs
yes,
because
absolutely.
I don't like something where I mean, nobody's an expert in paranormal.
Yeah, exactly.
The only expert is a ghost. The only expert is a ghost who may be there, who
Yeah,
may be there. If you are watching, if you are watching me, um, just share your thoughts
yeah,
through me.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying, right? Because
yeah. Understood.
they can't manifest easily.
Yes,
uh,
yes.
let me say this, what I heard even from my guru as well. 99% of the times, these people who say that they've been possessed, 99% of the times it's not true, but 1% is true. So it's not like because all that stuff, right? 99% is what they start feeling, and they awaken within themselves. They feel they are, they behave that way, but they are
Yeah,
not actually possessed. So there's nothing paranormal about that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
1% is,
yeah,
1% is.
yeah,
Can I tell you something that's
yeah, yeah,
amazing?
yeah. I
Because
think
I
they're
told you,
waiting for
Meena, I
you
will
to
only
give
talk
your
about,
own
yeah.
paranormal experience. Yes.
Yeah. So okay, I have I well, that's that's one part, but I'll tell you something which is interesting. It was the 12th of Feb, and 13th was my birthday, and I was at Mangalore, at one of the mutts, the mutt, and I had a chance to speak to my guru, and I asked my guru if there are ghosts, and this was 2002. So I was very, I mean, today is 2021, right? So I was more immature. I'm less immature now, so I was just blatantly, and it was my birthday.
Yeah,
So Swamiji, at exactly 12 a.m., 13th of Feb, that's my birth date. He lit a candle. And one thing I learned from that day is you should never to the candle, you should light a candle. That's how
yeah,
we celebrate the birthday. And not do don't
yeah.
extinguish it. After that,
Okay.
Swamiji was like, ask me whatever you want to. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
I asked Swamiji one question, which is,
This was
are
how,
there really ghosts?
recently or sometime back?
2002, 2002.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's how many years back? 20,
Yeah.
21 years back, or
Yeah.
20 years back, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The point is, Meena,
Mm,
is I asked because I always used to wonder because I have had some paranormal which I'll come to
yeah.
much later, but I always was inquisitive, and Swamiji that time told me that yes, that there are. Um, but Swamiji was trying to tell me that don't fall into all this research and stuff because you do your japa. That's more
Yeah.
important. But I asked, are there ghosts? And Swamiji was telling me about an experience which even Swami Vivekananda had.
Mm,
Swami Vivekananda had, where he was an atheist. I hope
okay.
you know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Swami Vivekananda was an atheist at
Mm,
one point of time,
yeah. Yeah.
and Ramakrishna Paramahansa told me don't go into the haunted house. A particular incident, and he went, and that time he felt the energies, and that's what my guru told me that there are energies,
Yeah.
but don't fall. What I learned is don't fall too much into it because you don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I know of a yogi who was traveling with his guru. Okay. And the guru told him, you will not be sleeping inside the house, you'll sleep outside in the veranda, some
Okay.
small little place.
Mm,
And what happened is, so that young Shisha was wondering, why is my guru telling me to sleep outside? At around 3:34 in the morning,
yeah.
he started hearing a conversation between his guru and some sounds coming from inside. Only for later, the guru told him that he was having a conversation with a spirit inside who was
Oh,
which was keeping the place haunted, and
okay.
he knew that this new guy would have not been able to handle that. So
Yeah.
he told him to sleep outside, and he
Okay.
told the spirit, it seems that I am, he spoke to the spirit and educated the spirit in some sense that your place is not here. I will give you mukti.
Yeah.
I will give you mukti. And because
Yeah.
that guru was at that level. So my
Yeah.
point, Meena, is one part to your question is, in the sense is there are definitely these energies which we call bhoot
Yeah.
spirits, uh, of different tendencies.
Yeah.
They come with their own samskaras, like we come with our own samskaras. Somebody is very
Yeah.
aggressive, somebody is
Yeah.
very passive. You know
Yeah.
that, right, Meena? You'll find three sons: one is passive, one is assertive, one is aggressive. So
Yeah.
spirits have their own tendencies that they come with,
Yeah.
and therefore I think only a person with a lot of courage and education, spiritual education, is able to handle that.
Yeah.
You let me tell you something for the viewers. When I was in Fiji, Fiji is a place close to Australia and New Zealand, and I
New
was there
Zealand.
to
Yeah.
conduct leadership workshops.
Yeah.
It's called Fiji Islands.
Yeah.
Now, you'll be surprised to know that we get into this temptation to think that India, villages, spirits. No, 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 no. Spirits are across the universe.
Yeah.
So there are two things I'll tell you. One I experienced myself, and I don't talk about it a lot because I mean, what do I talk to here? If I'm meeting a friend over a coffee, will I tell him about my experience of a ghost? No, he'll run away,
Yeah.
and I'll
Yeah.
have to pay the bill for the coffee as well. So, but in this in
Yeah.
this podcast, I'll tell you something.
Hmm.
For some reason, in a particular hotel, no names, yeah, obviously, every night, Meena, I would hear almost every night. I would not sleep well, um, and I would hear something getting whispered in my ear. I'm not
Okay.
joking.
Yeah.
I'm not joking because I even told my mum about it, and I have yet to tell my guru about it because I don't know. Uh, my guru will say it's okay, don't chill, just do your japa. So that's okay. But I could actually hear like this, that kind of stuff. I swear, and I'm like semi awake. I'm not even dreaming, and I was so sleepy that I just put the thing over me and
Yeah.
sleep because I'm not interested in getting affected by the.
Yeah.
But I swear I could hear like this, something like that, some whispers. I swear I could. And in the morning, so I'll tell you something, Meena. In the movie, like paranormal movie, people will be scared, right?
Yeah.
If they see something like that.
Yeah.
But in real time, it's not scary.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised. It's not
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and then there was one instance where I just sort of got up, I looked around, there's nothing. I could only hear whispers.
Yeah.
Um, So what I did is I changed. It's a bed. I was alone. I shifted from that side to the other side,
Okay.
thinking something will happen. And to my own surprise, the whispering stopped.
Okay.
That's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stopped. It stopped. I don't know what. And the owner of that hotel is known to me, so I didn't want to say anything much because I thought something initially was in my head, but I
Yeah.
could literally hear this,
No, see,
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
something very similar, Mayur. See, happened when we went to Naples. You know, so
Oh,
this is a
really?
very high, yeah, Naples, a very high end luxury spa. Like a retreat,
Yeah.
and
Mm,
we were all given, separate, rooms. Like it's like a separate unit. So all of the
mm, mm,
media
mm.
were given separate units, and uh, you know. Uh, apparently this was owned by the nuns at some time, and it faces the sea, and
Yeah.
all over you will find these,
Wow.
what do you call, these olive trees, old ones, very old ones. It's a
Mm,
beautiful place. And then we were all called for dinner at night. So for going to dinner, you have to cross across a lawn and then go into the hall and then have dinner. So
mm,
after having dinner, I was feeling very tired, so I said, I'll go back. So these are the people,
mm.
they drink, so they were enjoying their time. So I decided to come back.
Sure.
And
Sure.
just next to my unit was a Tunisian girl, so she was in the next place.
Mm,
So what
mhm.
happened was, when I opened the door, we had to climb up and open the door. the door opened and then it banged on my face. Okay. So then I
Oh,
got scared.
wow.
So then, then what happened was I opened the door and I sat down for some time, just trying to catch my breath because it was very luxurious. You have two bathrooms, one for him and her, and you have lots of paintings, old paintings, of Jesus
Mhm.
Christ and some other paintings
Okay.
like that. And then a lot of
Mm,
old cupboards. Usually luxury
mhm.
hotels don't have that, but old cupboards and with
Yeah, yeah,
mirrors,
yeah,
lots of
yeah.
mirrors. So then what happened
Mhm.
was I sat down and then I brushed my teeth and I went off to sleep. When I went off to
Mm,
sleep, suddenly, it had a window exactly like the one that you find in a ship, the round one.
mm, mm.
Suddenly, a sound on the window. When I looked, it was a bird that had come, banged itself, and gone off. So I don't know whether it was
Wow.
hurt or whatever, but that sort of
Mm,
again frightened me a little bit more. Then
mhm.
I felt whether it was because of the mirrors, I felt that someone was watching, you see. So I
Wow.
couldn't get that feeling off. And then when I started sleeping, I could feel someone pulling the blanket, you know, that sort of feeling. So I said, I am not going to be able to spend a night in this room. So I called this girl, Tunisian girl. So she had also come back by that time. So she said, well, anything wrong? So I said, I'm feeling this. So what do you feel in your room? So she said, I'm also feeling scared, you know. So I said, then why don't you come to
Oh.
my room? So she
Mm,
came, and then she also started feeling the same thing. So what she did was she turned the Jesus Christ painting the other way, you know.
mhm. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she covered the mirrors. I found it really crazy. And then she covered the mirrors. And then when she went to the bathroom, the light went off. So there were a lot of things like this happening. So the next day, we had a very bad night. The next day, when we asked them, see, is there something wrong? Is there some history to this place? So then they said at that time, this was a fortress, where soldiers were there. And these pirates used to come in, through this thing, and
Mhm.
they used to torture these people.
Oh,
The soldiers
oh
used
my
to torture
God.
the pirates in
Yeah, yeah.
these, in the rooms wherever. So then I realized that, see, there must be something. Otherwise, how can, we are all very skeptical people. It's difficult to believe these things. But when we
True,
left the
true,
place,
true.
we were actually relieved because there was something very, very, abnormal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. See, I'll tell you something. Um, this is generally what you're telling me, what you experienced or what I
Yeah,
experienced in the Fiji hotel, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, or we typically hear about haunted places, na?
Yes,
Haunted
yes.
places, hote na? We typically.
Ah,
But I'll tell you something. I have been through a process, a religious process, where um, my father and my mother and me, we had to sit and we had to sit with some very uh, advanced level purohits
yeah.
at 2:30 at 1 o'clock in the night, and
Yeah.
it was at their place. And
Mm,
understand what I'm saying, Meena. This was about a process where we had to literally, through the purohits, through their own chantings, invoke and
mm,
awaken and call certain unhappy souls.
yeah.
And this is not this is not an imagination. I'm talking about actually my mom, me, and my dad, because my sister is in Dallas, so she couldn't make it, and my wife and kids were not. It was about our ancestors, right? So we sat there at a particular place, and they were invoking through certain chantings, and they
Mm,
would ask me, my father as well, especially my father. So who's your grandfather? Okay, my father would say, this is my grandfather, like my father's grandfather, and they would do something. Okay, these are the things they would do, and they would actually call, sing the name, and they would say, is are you unhappy, are you unhappy, in their own way in Kannada. And so my father would or they would ask my father, is there something, like, was he, what do you think, have you heard something? Okay, so that's one part, and they would sort of try and talk to that energy. um, then they would say, there's somebody, some entity, they would say, tell my dad, who's trying to connect with me, who's trying to connect with me. I think you need to really do something. There's the shraddha has not happened, the shraddha has not happened for that person. You know what shraddha is, the 13th
yes,
day.
yes.
So initially it was, but later on every year it's not happening. That
Yeah.
soul is not happy. Now
Okay.
we think paranormal is, Meena, only what we see on YouTube. We
Yeah.
think paranormal is what the doors or that thing happens, tuck
Yeah.
tuck tuck tuck, and then the door opens and all. That's one part, but there's something much more deeper, where a soul is trying to connect and
Yeah.
trying to send a message that, I'm
Yeah.
stuck, and I'm stuck because you have not given me the kind of recognition that I want. So please do my uddhara, do
Yeah.
something for me, and I want to relieve myself. I want to sort of relieve, as in I want to release myself, I want to go. So paranormal is not for me, Meena, just about learning or listening and watching a door on its own closing. Because I've,
Yeah.
like what you said is true, which is
Mm,
correct.
mm,
It's far more deeper. I
mm.
think paranormal is also about spirits or entities or energies who are trying to connect with, certain people, trying to say, I need to liberate.
Yeah.
I'm stuck,
Mm,
do something for me.
mm.
And that's the reason why they will try and do certain things where we think, oh, the door just opened,
Yeah.
or
To
something I
get our
saw in the
attention.
mirror. They're trying to,
Yeah.
yeah, they want to connect. They want to
Mm.
basically tell you that, hey, help me out. That's
Yeah.
one of the things. Of course, there's another paranormal, which is poltergeist, where uh, they say
I
that
think
poltergeist, if you remember
in
as
Kerala
kids.
they call it
Yeah.
Kutti Chatter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
there's so much. I mean, there's when you go to villages, there's
Yeah.
so much to
Mm, mm.
explore. Of course, it gets scary as well. There was something I remember as a kid. It's called Anjan.
Yeah.
If anybody's watching from Karnataka, there's something called Anjana. Anjana means
Mm.
they put kajal. You know what's
Yeah.
kajal, no? Black. They
Yes.
put it here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it seems through certain techniques they're able to. They can actually see stuff through the Anjana.
Yeah.
um, the
Reflection.
entities or something like that,
Mm, mm,
reflection, and they can
mm,
see ghosts.
mm.
It's so, the whole beauty of this is, it's up to us whether we want to believe or not.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that um, there are certain souls. Oh, can I say something very interesting I saw just
Yeah.
day
Please.
before
Sure.
yesterday? You'll be
Mm.
amazed.
Yeah. Mm,
This is Germany.
mm,
Germany. The person I'm talking about is a scientist.
mm,
His daughter, his daughter goes to school on a cycle. On the way back, as she's riding the cycle back with her friends, a particular truck driver, maybe this girl is far ahead, the truck driver behind loses control and, unfortunately, gross as it sounds, runs over a classmate of hers.
Okay.
That classmate dies.
Mm,
The girl, who I'm talking about, the German scientist's
mm,
daughter,
mm,
she obviously goes home and tells her father about it.
mm,
When the father comes to know that, oh, that's the girl, he
mm,
doesn't know. And this is an interview which I saw, okay, between the scientist and this particular guy, and he's telling this guy that that my daughter came up to me and told me that this girl died, and she's shocked, and
mm,
he, for some reason, feels. So he asks her, what's her name, like what happened.
mm,
The girl, his daughter, says her name is whatever, ABC.
mm,
And Meena, that scientist, when he hears the girl's name, and he says, I've seen her once or twice at the school,
mm,
and he feels tremendous
mm,
unhappiness. He feels like his own daughter. He feels very, very unhappy,
mm, mm,
and he wonders why. He doesn't
mm,
even know the girl. He doesn't know
mm,
the girl that much. It's like, your daughter's class, not
mm,
even classmate, some other
mm,
class, some girl.
mm, mm,
So he wonders, why is he feeling so much, and then he says, maybe because he's a father. No, he feels for the girl. He feels sad. Even after months, he's not able to come over the fact that he's lost, that girl is gone. He's feeling sorrow. He can't live a normal life.
yeah.
His daughter is alive, but
Yeah.
that girl, her death has shocked him
Affected him so
to
much.
the core so much. He's like,
Mm,
why so much?
mm,
She's not my daughter. I, of course, she's a girl, I feel, but after months, only for him to realize, I'm cutting this a little short, only for him to realize, he's told, something's happened, okay? You know what something's happened is, in the night he feels cold vibrations on a particular side. I'm not joking, this is on YouTube, and he's a scientist,
mm,
so I'm not just saying it off the cuff. He feels cold vibrations in his body, right side. He feels cold vibrations so much that he's surprised why. He's a scientist. He's a
Yeah.
scientist. So he's not supposed to believe all this, right? And he's like, he doesn't understand. One side is feeling this shivering, like cold.
Mm.
And one thing leads to the other, and he meets a particular person who says that. So when he goes to meet this person, she says, that lady says to him, that girl is right here. That girl is right here. And she wants you to know that in the past life, you were her father.
Oh.
And in the past life, I died. And you couldn't, you were in grief. And this life also, similar things happened. I mean, this is coming from, and this is not a joke. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
making it up, right?
Yeah.
I because I love to research. I love to understand how the
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
thinks about this. And he says to that interviewer that I'm a scientist. I'm not supposed to believe all this. So what he does, he goes to, so he listens. Um, he just can't understand why is he feeling this grief, and he logically
Mm.
he's very keen to believe this because why is he feeling so much of love and affection for that girl. And that lady says that the girl was your daughter in your previous life. He goes to another convention on past life.
Yeah.
There's something called past life regression.
Yeah.
It happens. So
Yeah.
so he goes to a different place. He enrolls,
Mm.
and when he meets another person
Mm.
there in a seminar,
Mm.
she tells him the same thing. She says, there's this girl who's right beside you, very
Oh.
similar to the movie Sixth Sense.
Yes. Yes.
And this person in the seminar who doesn't know that other person at all, this person says, she was your daughter in your past life. And she lost her life in the past life, and this time also she lost her life, and she feels bad for you because again you're feeling the same. So
Yeah.
don't worry, something like that.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell you, Meena, is isn't this also beyond
Yeah.
normal?
Exactly.
And he was shocked because he couldn't believe that two people totally different, a
Yes.
lady whom he meets somewhere else, and then
Yeah.
he enrolls somewhere else, and he's a scientist, that
Yeah.
there is some entity he was connected to from a previous life.
Yes.
And there are so many such things which
Yeah.
we are not able to understand,
But
Meena.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we experience physiological things which we think
Uh,
is a headache. बहुत
yeah.
दुख रहा है. I don't know why. Maybe. I know somebody will say, Mayur, you're crazy. But I'm
Mm.
telling you, sometimes there are signs. There are signs, not science. There are
Yeah.
signs which we don't understand as science. We just
Yeah.
think, oh, I'm feeling a little feverish. Maybe I'm feeling a little down. Maybe I'm excited. Of course, we are all that. But maybe some energy is trying to also influence us, and making
Yeah.
us feel something which we are not able
You
to
know.
connect. So I just want to share
Mayur,
that.
see in Turkey, see one of the
Hmm.
Four Seasons hotels, is
Yeah.
built in a prison, you know, and
Oh,
apparently that prison, was one of the most cruel prisons where people were tortured very badly, you know, and
okay. Okay.
that's where they built this luxury, five-star hotel, Four Seasons. And my son said that he's gone and stayed there, though he's not experienced anything. But many people say that they did hear sounds, at night. And again, as you say,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
spirits are all, perhaps they are unhappy. They've left the world, without being satisfied. So that could be one of the
True.
reasons,
True.
isn't it, Mayur? Is that, when a person who dies before his time and he hasn't
Yeah.
experienced anything, that he can be
In fact, I
amidst
would
us.
absolutely. In fact, I would just add value to your valuable point,
Mm.
Meena, and in fact, I'm looking forward to comments and inputs from our viewers as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it is said
yeah,
because nobody can really say, "Hey, here is a ghost,
yeah,
please."
yeah,
Yeah, he will say something. You can't because ghosts don't have the luxury of being able to manifest themselves like that.
yeah.
But I can tell you one thing, Meena, that what I've seen is that when there is a death that happens, akasmat.
Mm.
Akasmat means suddenly.
Yeah,
Suddenly. Now I know people will say, isn't that also part of your destiny? Well, not everything is. Sometimes an accident is so horrendous that the spirit is shocked. The soul is shocked, it doesn't know what to do. For some time it lingers. It's not sure. It's like, Meena, you're put in a forest
Yeah.
suddenly, and you're like,
Mhm.
for some time you're wondering what is happening. I don't know. That is sometimes the state of a spirit,
Yeah.
and
But then,
sometimes
Mayur,
I feel
Mayur,
that,
I'll just
yeah,
interrupt you
yeah,
here.
yeah,
But then, see,
sure, sure, sure,
many people have said that. See, when they die and they come back, they do remember who are the people in the room. For a minute, they do linger around in the room and they can see the people, and
yeah,
then, at times they come back. So that's what they narrate.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they do. In fact, there are a lot of these. You're right, absolutely. Where I've watched a podcast where people have said that they were presumed to be dead, and actually they
Mm.
weren't. For some time they
Yeah,
were,
yeah,
and clinically dead, and then they
yeah.
actually see their own body
Yes.
in the operation theater,
Yeah, yeah,
and then they float. Now,
yeah.
listen, I can play the role of two things, to be honest. And what I love about this show is you give me the luxury to feel what I want to feel. So I can feel
Yeah,
like a believer, and I
yeah,
can be honest to say that, oh yeah, maybe, wow, man, this guy's like floating and he can see this one. The other is hallucination.
yeah.
Because listen, I have to be very honest here in this show. I'm not here to say everything is true or everything is false.
Exactly.
Sometimes we
Yeah,
think what it is what it is. It isn't. It may not be. It's so
yeah,
beautifully ambiguous, right? My uncle, I think I said this in the last show. My
yeah.
uncle was suffering from what is it called, the brain thing, Parkinson's.
Mm,
And once I arrived home, and he was sitting there, and he was looking over my
mm.
shoulder, Meena. You can hear me, right? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And he actually was telling me he's seeing my maternal uncle,
Mm.
and he's like, why don't you tell him to sit down? And he's so serious that I got spooked. I'm just entering from Pune, and he's like, hey, you come and tell uncle to also sit down. I'm like, which
My
uncle?
God. Mm,
I swear, he's sitting. My uncle is sitting on the chair, and my maternal uncle is what he's seeing. There's nobody. There's nobody. I'm seeing there's nobody. Now, there are two things. One, is he actually seeing him? Second, is he hallucinating? It's for
yeah,
for us to decide. But this is the truth. I got spooked. Later on, he tells me, Mayur, sometimes these medicines I have, he would take those medicines. It makes me hallucinate. He
yeah,
was the one who told me that. My point is that there are some things we can't swallow everything to the viewers
yeah,
as well. And one more thing I'll tell you, Meena. Paranormal is not. I've seen a lot. I've experienced some things. Paranormal is not always what you see.
yeah,
It's what you hear.
mm,
It's what you hear or what you feel. Sometimes you feel the. They say that if there is a paranormal energy, you'll feel very cold, very
yes,
cold.
yes,
That
yeah,
that space is very cold.
mm,
So you don't see the the only thing that you can come close to seeing is smoke,
yeah,
a smoke form.
yeah,
Like my friend in Australia, she said, I woke up at 3 o'clock. I think I've said this before, but I'm just saying this because this is the context as well. She wakes up because the kid is crying. Every day at 3 o'clock, she cries, and she doesn't know what. One day, she just happens to wake up early before the kid cries, like 2:45, and she sees a smoky form just walk goes away from where the kid is, and and the and I think the smoky form goes away, and the kid doesn't cry. This friend of mine walks up and shouts at it.
mm,
Now, is it, I don't know what to make of it, but she saw it, and she's not dumb. She
yeah,
works with a big
mm,
organization there.
mm,
So
mm,
these are things which are interestingly beautiful,
yeah,
scarily beautiful.
yeah,
But there are things that happen, Meena. These things
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Sensible is asking you, how does one distinguish
Yeah.
between a genuine possession and a fake possession?
Mr. Sensible Life, I can tell you one thing. That's a very sensible question,
Yeah,
because that's exactly what my guru told me, dear Sensible Life, is 99% of the times it's fake.
yeah,
Okay, because you get good money. When you are even an IIT person, MBA person, will like, my bloody god, this is interesting, man. Hey, camera, it's easy to create this effect. So I know for one thing, sensible person, uh, 1% is true. But the answer to your question is very difficult to actually find out, and I don't know
Yeah,
how we can, because it's easy to act it out, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Somebody can act out he's mad. He may not
Mm,
be. Maybe he's
mm,
done some very cruel crime and he
mm,
wants to get away by being projected as a mad person.
mm.
But I can tell you one thing, that a lot of it, Meena, and people are watching, when you see people, हम उसको कहते हैं अंगावर आले, in Marathi we say अंगावर आले,
Mm.
who's possessed.
Yeah, yeah,
Not most of the times it's not really true. They
yeah,
sometimes they get themselves to feel
yeah,
like that and they
yeah.
behave like that as well.
Mm,
But it may not, it most of the time it's not true. 1% times
yeah,
it's true.
yeah, yeah. Maya says, my grandpa had an eerie experience the wee hours of the morning with a female voice calling out his name. He walked ahead, felt the shock of cold water in the river, looked back, and saw a misty outline.
Yeah, yeah, I totally believe that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I totally believe that that can happen, because sometimes these energies can, if they're strong enough, they can manifest their thoughts through sound. They can do that.
mm, yeah,
It's tough. I've always felt, Meena, and even to the person who's asked the question, is that just like people have their own degrees of strengths, right? I'm sure you know that somebody may be
yeah,
weak, somebody may be meek, somebody may be aggressive, somebody may be assertive. The spirit world also has different energies with different strengths. Some of these strengths, spirits have the strength to even speak out, like
yeah,
use voice, use energies.
yeah,
um, I don't know if you heard, there are certain people, I think you must have, Meena, when there were some people trying to connect with Sushant Singh, right?
yes,
Using the
yes,
spirit box,
mm,
the
mm,
spirit box,
yeah,
and it became very famous. So I have done
yeah,
a little research even before Sushant Singh,
yeah,
because I wanted to know how they connect. So,
yeah.
like in the person who asked the question, that person,
Maya,
your grandfather must Maya must have Maya, your grandfather definitely must have felt something, I'm sure. But sometimes it's very difficult to really, define it as something specific, because these entities are not able to, they're not in that strength area where they can really manifest themselves into a form. They can, that's what I call, they're called poltergeists,
yeah,
where they become very strong, huh? They
yeah,
can
yeah,
absorb from the other person's weakness, so they become strong, 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 and they can manifest themselves in a form. But yet, I personally believe that it's very difficult to see a spirit literally looking like a person with specific features.
yeah,
Like somebody said, I saw my grandfather literally. Well,
mm,
sensibly speaking, sorry, when um, you do the cremation of a person, na, when the body merges with the earth, it merges with the fire. How can that person again manifest? So
yeah,
I don't understand that. Maybe I'm wrong, but they can always try their ways to connect and send messages as well. One message is through dreams as well, Meena.
yes, yes,
They can use dreams, not all dreams. Sometimes
mm,
you'll feel a solid connection, like when you wake up you feel a very strong vividity about the dream.
yeah,
You can literally
yeah,
feel the dream.
yeah,
And maybe that's one of the medium. If you've
mm,
seen the movie Inception,
yeah,
Inception, Leonardo DiCaprio,
yes,
they
yes,
use dreams as a way. But that's
yeah,
again different, right? This is
yeah.
about spirit world. They can use such things. So yeah, this is
Shalini
a
says,
beautiful subject.
yeah,
Yeah,
Shalini
yeah.
says, is it because you have awareness of these energies?
Could be. Could be. It's an interesting question, Shalini. Let me say this, Meena, to you and to all the viewers. I have known people, I'm unfortunately or fortunately not one of them, I have met people or known people who have, uh, they're more sensitive, okay? They're more sensitive, they're more receptive, and they're more sensitive, yeah? That's the best word, to feel some energies. I can't. I mean, the closest I got was when I heard the whispers. But maybe because I practice my Shiva Kavacha, because I always feel my Guru's presence all around me when I do my japa in the night, especially. I don't think these people have the guts to come close to me, personally speaking. But there are some entities or some people who can feel it. I know of some people who I haven't told them, but they come across to me as very vulnerable, you know, and they get affected. They're able to see visuals of certain things more. And they say, Mayur, what do I do? So I said, just, share this with the guru, yeah. At least you'll get some strength, or practice some stotra so that
Yes.
you can create good vibrations around you. So it
Yeah.
depends on people to people. Some people can connect. Some
Mhm.
people are more sensitive to be able to feel these, and some people are
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that way. Yeah,
Yeah. Savi is saying one house where the owner's spirit doesn't allow anyone to live in that house. Spirit will turn the
yeah,
bed and person will get very sick. The house is still abandoned. So a bad house, a haunted house.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what savvy that is. That's how it the word haunted came into fruition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
if you go into the house, why do you feel it's haunted? Because you feel the presence of something very strong, and that
Yeah.
presence is trying to say, "Get out of here!" Like,
Yeah.
don't. This is not your place. Now, so it's a lot. I feel, Meena, about a spirit that has something that it wants to still fulfill, some
Yeah.
desire it wants to fulfill,
Yeah.
and that's why I said sometimes accidents or murders, unfortunately, things that happen, the spirit is not willing to go. It
Mhm.
wants to finish off something, and then it becomes in a position where it says, that's my house, nobody can come in because I still own the house, not realizing that it's gone. The body is gone, the spirit is supposed to go, but it's still holding back. And that's why, Meena, if you remember, um, like we all have faced other people's demise. You remember, we always have the shraddha, the
Yeah.
ninth day, the 10th day. What is it? When my father passed away, what was the priest doing? He
Yeah.
was communicating with my father, okay? And he was saying, please now leave. It's your time to leave, to to the soul. That, okay, we will give you whatever. The Purohit was appeasing the soul that your time has come. Please
Yeah.
leave. Ninth day, 10th day, 12th and 13th day, and then finally it leaves. So
Yeah.
that's how it is, I believe. Some spirits don't want to leave. That's when it becomes haunted.
See, I wanted to tell you something very interesting. See, my mother-in-law, she was with us before she passed away.
Okay.
She was, she was bedridden for some time because, part of her hip had broken.
Yeah.
She died peacefully. The day after we cremated her body, when we came back, see, our windows are all not that wide that things can come in, but suddenly saw a big black butterfly, you know, on her bed, you know, and I didn't want to
Wow.
disturb it because somewhere I felt there's something more to it, and then I just
Mm,
came out without saying. After some time, it flitted around and then it went, you know, but somewhere
yeah.
I felt that see. What is it? Does it signify something?
Yeah.
Just like you said, some other meaning. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Even crows, no? The
Yeah.
crows. If you remember,
Yes.
in our faith of
Yeah.
Hinduism, we always
Yeah.
say that like we keep on a banana leaf
Yes.
food,
Yes. Yeah.
and every we do the shraddh, so
Yeah.
we always keep that, and we when we see crows coming in and eating, we say, "Ha!"
Yeah.
The soul is very
They
happy
represent
and it's
our
now willing to leave.
ancestors. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, ancestors. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it's very interesting to
Mm.
all the viewers as well. It's very interesting, isn't it? That there are these souls which can come and can manifest if they want to, or with the
Yeah.
permission of a higher soul, to come in the form of a butterfly, like you said, a black butterfly, or maybe in the form of a crow.
Yeah.
Um, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Because you
It's
very rarely
interesting.
find,
But
you rarely find a black butterfly. You usually find them in all sorts of hues, beautiful yellow,
yeah,
green,
yeah, yeah.
blue, and all that. And this was sudden,
True.
like a black widow. Found it so strange. Anyway, I mean, nature is always
Yeah.
beautiful. So we take it as a positive
Yes,
sign,
yes, yes.
as if the soul wanted to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Lopa is
Absolutely. There's a
asking you,
question coming in. No,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Lopa is asking you, what is Dev gun, and what is Rakshas gun?
Rakshas Gun,
Rakshas
I
gun.
know. Hey,
Rakshas
you know
gun.
what?
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Lopa, if you're listening and watching this, as a kid, when because we lived in a small little society, a colony in Mumbai, Konkani people, And I remember we used to in the sometimes these kids we used to as imagine Meena, we were just like 8, 9, 10 years old. We used to talk about ghosts, and because that time, yeah, talk about 1980s, we used to go to our native place a lot, and I remember um, one of my friends said that only people who are Rakshasgan can see ghosts,
Mm,
who are Devgan cannot see ghosts, and it just reminded me that Lopa is right. There are people who have, just say, we have our own kundali, no? Kundali
yeah.
hota hai na? Our own, whatever, the nakshatra and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, so very few people are those who have a Rakshas gun, it's said, and those who have the Rakshas gun are able to somehow see or feel ghosts. And I remember this very clearly because this friend said um, that it seems he was told he has Rakshas gun, that whenever he sees or feels something, please chant the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhur Bhuswa Om Tat Savitru Varenyam Bhargo Devas Dhima Dhiyo Na Prachodayat. I remember as kids, and he remembered it so clearly. And I
Mm,
had still not had my thread ceremony, right? Because thread
mm,
ceremony is all about that. And he was telling me that whenever I'm told, that when something I feel or see goes, I have to keep close my eyes and chant Gayatri Mantra, Gayatri Mantra. And then later on, I was even told that even Hanuman Chalisa is something
mm,
which will, it'll protect you. But my
yeah.
answer uh, is there is this thing called Rakshas gun and Dev gun. People who have gun as in the something that you're born on a particular day at a particular time or a particular year maybe that you don't. It's like blood type
Mm,
A positive B positive. So I'm a Dev gun I think.
mm,
But these are things. I have a friend, Meena. I have a friend. Um, no names from Pune who's an engineer, and he was the one who actually gave me this. He gave me the, if you can see the Ekmukhi
mm,
Rudraksh. This is the
yeah.
one he
Yeah. Yeah.
gave me. He just gave it to me. One, I think I've said this, but let me say
Mm,
this in this
yeah.
context. I called him and just talking to him. It was around 10 o'clock, 10:30, and he said, "Hey, hi, how are you?" In the night,
Mm,
and we were in Pune. I was in Pune. He was in Pune, and just how are you doing and all that. And he said, "Hey, you know what? I'm just a little scared here. I don't want to leave the house after 12. I have to go and pick up my sister."
mm,
So I said, "Okay, it's like sister, 12 o'clock. So why are you scared? I mean, what's
mm,
scary?" I didn't even say that. I was like
mm,
wondering why is he scared to leave
mm,
house after 12 if he has to pick up his sister. So before I could say anything, he must have understood that maybe Mayur is feeling a little wondering like what's wrong with
yeah.
him. So he said, "By the way, Mayur, I have to tell you, you must be wondering why I don't leave my house after 12 o'clock in the night, like 12 a.m., is because I can see ghosts."
Mm,
And I'm like, "What?"
mm,
I said, What are you saying? Really?" So he said, "Yeah, yeah, what to do, man? I'm a Rakshas gun. I can see ghosts." So I was in a quandary, Mina. Should I take him as a crazy guy
yeah.
or or spiritually amazing guy? I don't know. And
Yeah.
he's a head of marketing for a company where
Yeah.
I did
Not,
training
not
programs.
someone. Yeah. Mm,
So there is this thing, and he was telling me sincerely that he's scared. He said,
mm,
I don't like to see spirits. They
yeah.
don't do. I said, what do they do? They said, they don't do anything to me, but I just
Oh,
don't feel. I can't see them. It's.
yeah.
I mean, he said, Mayur, would you like to see ghosts around sitting here and there?
My God.
I'm like, no,
Mm,
please. So there are these things,
yeah.
and Meena, what I'm trying to say this when I elaborate is the world is beautiful,
Yeah.
the world is mysterious as well. I mean, we have no idea. It's just that because we don't see something, we think it isn't there. There is
Absolutely.
right here. There is someone I can
Yeah.
feel, and if it is there, please just be there and help me to explain better. Never know. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. My mother-in-law passed here. My mother-in-law passed here in the same room. I was there on the same bed where she was right now. I'm not
Mm,
scaring you. I'm telling you factually. I've never seen. I've never seen because my father passed away later, and I
yeah.
wasn't there because I was at some other place. But when my mother-in-law passed away, she was like my mom, yeah, and it was very tough to see mom in
yeah,
cancer to lose her life. I swear to God, the difficulty in breathing.
yeah,
I
really.
saw her last breath
Mm,
that night after the cremation when we came back. The lady who was who was looking after, who actually told us, the nurse, that she's passed away, because as a normal person you don't know, right,
yeah,
when actually it happened. So she was there and we saw last breath we saw, but she said, there, that's it. That night she was sitting sleeping, that nurse. Next morning she says, I could see her, she was standing right there. And now I don't know, man. I mean, it's like I was in the same house in another room, and she was sleeping. This nurse was sleeping right where I'm here. She was sleeping down on the floor,
mm,
which she normally would.
mm,
And this nurse is a normal person,
mm,
okay, and a very good nurse, really good nurse. She said when she woke up, she saw the legs of my mother-in-law right beside her. She looked up, and it was in that house coat that she was wearing. And then she got so scared, she closed her eyes. When she again looked, there was nobody. Now, the beauty of life is whether you want to believe or not, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
come on. I'm just sharing because in the context, but this is
yeah,
what she saw. I didn't see anything.
yeah, yeah,
Am I there or I'm just
mm, mm.
lost?
Yeah,
You can see
absolutely.
me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So Meena, this is whether it's paranormal, I have no idea, but entities are there. And sometimes entities take time to leave.
mm,
Now, whether because I myself feel that once the cremation is done, that soul cannot again come back in the same form
yeah,
because it's lost that form. No, it'll
mm,
come in the form, just a form, a smoke. I
yeah,
understand that. I've seen that, but that's another thing. But it could be my hallucination. But I can tell you that maybe it was very immediate, and
mm,
then she saw the legs. May
mm,
not be the form, but these are things that make me understand that where science ends, spirituality starts, right? It's
yeah,
we think this is it, but there's so much more different, like Karthik is saying, energies of various frequencies. Absolutely. uh, to all the viewers, can I request you one thing, even to Meena? There's a movie called The Others.
yeah.
It's called
See,
Nicole
yeah,
Kidman. Have you seen
yeah,
it, Meena?
yes, yes, yes.
Isn't it
It's
amazing?
beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's like till the end you realize, oh my
Yeah,
god, we were, she thinks she's the normal person.
yeah,
Only for her to realize she's not.
yeah,
Who she sees as ghosts are the normal
yeah,
people.
yeah, absolutely.
That's actually the case.
Mm,
That's actually the case.
mm.
That's actually the case. Yeah.
See here,
I think there's
Sanika is
somebody
saying,
saying something. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
when Robert sir had passed away, we had deep respect for them. I was literally crying. The next day, I could feel some abnormal airflow through our window, though our windows were banging, as if his presence, I felt okay.
Could be.
So,
Could be. You never
yeah,
know, man. You never know. Souls can travel faster than the speed of light,
see, especially
right?
in Sushant's
They can
case,
man. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sushant's case,
Yeah.
see, it has affected everybody in different ways.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some have dreamt of him, some have, felt him near, some have cried, so much. It's like you said about
Yeah.
another person that you said that the scientist, how he was getting upset, because the
Yeah.
girl was his daughter in the previous birth. Is it true that dogs
Yeah.
cry at
Yeah.
night when they see ghosts?
I do see that. I do feel, on a serious note, that dogs somehow, in comparison to other forms of existence like cats or wild animals, I don't know, dogs do have uh, this, what should I say, an intelligence where
Okay.
they can sense paranormal activity.
Yeah.
They can sense paranormal activity. So on Amavasyas, there are certain days, na, Meena, you know that, right? There are certain
Yeah.
days where the planets and the
Yeah.
magnetic force has an effect on the waves of the
Yeah.
ocean,
Yeah.
and also
Full
has
moon.
effects on even the minds of people. Some people,
Yes. Yes.
they say that people are a little psycho crazy, they get affected
Yeah.
more.
Yes. Yes.
And similarly, dogs on certain days, on certain such days, do feel more affected by
Yeah.
energies.
Yeah.
It's more louder, the
Yeah.
energies. That's why they can feel it.
Yeah.
Maybe some of us can also feel, but we never realize that we felt it. that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my answer to your question.
Martin is asking, can CCTV or cameras catch ghosts?
They can actually. That's what I've seen. I haven't
Uh,
tried it. I don't want to
mm,
try it.
mm,
The unfortunate part for me is, or for some of us, is we don't need cameras to catch ghosts. Sometimes
mm.
we can actually feel the presence, but cameras, yes, they can. Now I don't know the technicalities of it, but it's
Yeah.
said that when paranormal investigators go with cameras,
Mm,
they themselves cannot see, but cameras sometimes capture it, and later on
yeah.
they are able to. Then there are certain Meena, there are certain instruments which can even capture thermal energies,
Yeah.
biothermal energies,
Yes. Yes.
not just cameras. They can
Yeah.
literally heat
The ghost
sensors. So
hunters.
there are
Yeah.
yeah, so they can literally see forms, heat
Yeah.
sensing forms,
Yes. Yes.
and that's true as well. Yeah, so it goes beyond cameras.
Yeah. Karthik says, when I was dispersing the offerings of my mother's Shraddha in a pond, I felt the bag containing the offerings, the pindam, breathing heavily. I was scared for a minute, then did the dispersion. It's
Yeah,
strange.
could be. Yeah, it's strange, but I'll tell you, I have to um, reluctantly or excitedly agree with Karthik that there are, Meena, energies are of different strengths.
Mm,
Some things 99% maybe are not able to really show their strength, but sometimes they're
mm.
able to. So
Yeah.
I've seen a video where there's a bag which just goes like that, a bag. There's energy in that. Now, that energy maybe of a soul which is
Yeah.
able to, like, we are able to, some of us are able to pick up a dumbbell worth
Yeah.
20 kgs.
Yeah.
Some of us may not be able to. So it depends, right? So some energies are able to really move things,
Mm,
literally move things. They can
yeah.
even, you suddenly can feel a thud on your back.
Yeah.
They can move
Yeah.
that as well. But most of them are not able to do anything. That is why we don't see ghosts everywhere.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everywhere will be dum 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 dog 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 all that. So very few, rarely they will.
Mm,
And then some places they make their own home. It's like when
yeah.
you go to a beehive. You go
Mm,
to a beehive. You think you'll be able to just go and say, "Hi, Mr. Bee, how are you doing?" No, you can't. They'll just attack you, right? So
yeah.
similarly, there are areas where that energy is so strong that if
Mm,
you come in, they will
mm,
not allow you to come in. But if
yeah.
you're not entering that energy source,
Yeah.
otherwise you go anywhere. They will not do anything to you.
Yeah. Soul purpose. Moksh
Yeah.
says Karnataka has Nagas, Bhutas, and so many kind of entities that are communicated or prayed to. This you have already said
Yes,
in your earlier
I have.
session.
And it's nice, but I'll just say it in a sentence that
Yeah.
um, spirits are not those which are shown in Ramsey movies and horror movies only. If you've seen the movie Conjuring, right?
Yeah.
Conjuring, it's a Hollywood movie. That all that stuff coming from there and then it's great for tickets. It's
Yeah.
great for tickets. I would rather, I would be rather a believer of a movie called Omen. If you remember Omen,
Yes. Yes. Oh, terrible.
right? Terrible, but it's true. That's 1% of the possession that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
1%, it happens. Similarly here also, nagas. Now we only think that's bhoot, that's bhoot. Naga bhuta, you know. Um, so when these are entities.
Mm,
Anything that is not normal is supernormal or
yeah.
paranormal,
Mm,
right? So these are also paranormal entities. So I want to say to all of us that paranormal, I personally think, is not negative. Everything is not negative. Just like in a world of corporate, there are amazing managers and there are
yeah.
bad managers.
Yeah.
Or in
Exactly.
politics, there is amazing politician there are, and there are a lot of corrupt. So even in the spirit world, there are beautiful, powerful energies
Yeah.
who will bless you. That's why when
Yeah.
you go to a Naga Katta and
Yeah.
you say Om Naga Devataya Namaha, and you pray to Naga entity, to the paranormal entity, and you say, "Give me the strength. You know, I have a house in your kshetra, Naga kshetra. Please protect me, and I will every week I will offer you something." Metaphorically, offering is just an offering. That entity probably feels the connect. It may be in a different universe,
Yeah.
but within a millisecond it comes
Yeah.
because there's time and space doesn't exist in other
yeah,
worlds, even here
yeah,
as well. You know, so they'll come, and that's how I look at it.
mm,
I know it's a little long answer,
mm,
but it's beautiful. It's
yeah,
beautiful if you can understand how it works. These energies will always be there to help you out if you offer respect.
yeah.
So even when I watch these ghost paranormal investigating things on YouTube, I've heard some of them say, that we always speak with respect.
Yeah.
We don't want to hurt them. We tell them,
See,
please don't disturb
yeah,
this family that way.
yeah. I'll tell you, we
Yeah.
had an experience even in our show. You know, we were
Really?
discussing yeah, we were discussing the satanic rites, and the satanic
Huh.
cult. And in
Yeah.
between, we actually, when we were speaking about the number, that represents the satanic cult, when we spoke about that number, sort of a growling came. And we were all shocked. I think Karthik and everybody heard it. It was really shocking,
Really?
Yeah, and Jaydev was my son was also there, and we were just shocked. And then we sort of rewinded it, so many times just to hear that. And yes, it was there. We were talking about,
Wow.
you remember the Beatles when
Yeah.
one of them got killed in a hotel. I forget his name. Um, the one who married a Japanese
John
lady, Yoko.
John
Yoko.
Lennon.
Yeah, John Lennon and Yoko.
John
So
Lennon.
they were in front of a hotel and
Imagine.
they were killed. Yeah, they were killed there. So we were talking about that
Mm.
scene, and we were talking and about the hotel number, and that's when we heard the sound, and that's why someone
Wow.
viewers also said, "Oh, we don't hear something."
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is a world which we don't know.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you, can I just bring one part which
yeah,
we haven't
please,
yet
please,
talked about?
yeah, yeah, please.
There's something called a planchette, and there's something called an Ouija board,
Yes, yes,
which is to attract spirits, which is
yes,
to connect with spirits.
mm,
I am of the view that it's a dangerous activity.
yes, yes,
It's a dangerous activity because if you please do not, I have had two people who I know right now, maybe they're watching the show as well. Um, One of them was playing with the Ouija board, and that spirit is still stuck to that person
my
years,
God,
and it's because so it's that's the beauty, that's the unfortunate thing. It's not a beauty that
yeah,
these spirits, if they're called,
mm,
they will come. Otherwise it's like, why did you call me then?
yeah,
Like, I was happy in my space, you want to bring me, now I won't leave you.
yeah,
Just that, Meena, just as there are different types of people here, a good
mm,
person, a bad person, a vicious person, a lovely person, there are different spirits as well.
yes,
And you never know who you're inviting. And if
yes,
you don't play it properly, so I've heard that when you're using a spirit board, it's, if this is the sort of the board, for
mm,
example, the board, right? And
mm,
if you're playing, le-
mm,
they say that your hand should not leave.
mm,
That's what it is. I've seen a
mm,
video where if your hand, so when the thing moves, okay, and if your hand is there, if it is, then don't leave it, because it has to be connected. And
yeah,
it's while it's there, you should tell the entity to leave. If your hand goes away, the connect
mm,
goes away, then the spirit is able to sort of stick in. That's what I was told. My
yeah,
point is, paranormal sometimes gets awakened
mm,
through Ouija boards and through
yeah,
certain mediums or media that we use as well.
yeah,
Not just Ouija boards. There are certain tantrics, right?
yeah,
You remember, I mean, Meena, you're from the south as well.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
go to these villages, they
mm,
use tantric ways of even
yes,
connecting with souls. In fact, that's connected to black magic as well. They'll, in
mm,
fact, manipulate a spirit to also
yeah,
do things to another person, which is a
yeah,
different topic we spoke about
yeah,
last
yeah, yeah. So Ankush is saying, "Ma'am, namaste. Please
time.
ask him about Gaurav Tiwari, who was a famous paranormal expert." I don't know if you.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know. Unfortunately, or fortunately, you know, I'm an explorer myself. So I can tell you one thing, that I've seen some of his videos, and I also know that he lost his life in a very mysterious way. Now there are different stories to that, yeah. But what I saw, or what I saw in a video, is that he went to the bathroom or the washroom, and he never came out alive. And he heard, people heard something in in the washroom, and it seems that something like I said earlier, that a particular spirit had stuck with him, some entity had not left, because he used to do paranormal investigations, right? It's very dangerous when you go to different places which are haunted. You never know what kind of haunting is going on,
Yeah.
right? What kind of sense. So about this person, what can I say? What I'm seen is that he he lost his life in
Mm,
inside the washroom. Nobody knew what happened inside, but there was some sign on
mm,
his something on his neck,
mm,
which showed that that's a way by which it seems that an entity can even take a paranormal entity, which is a poltergeist types, can
mm.
take somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've
Yeah. So
heard, but
we've
I
gone
haven't.
beyond
I
that
mean, nothing
time.
more I can say.
Yeah.
Say it again.
You, I said you've gone beyond our time because it's so interesting. We just went on and on.
I know. Yeah,
Tell me
I
one
think
thing.
another 5 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah,
tell me, tell me.
just one last thing I wanted to ask you is that uh, is telepathy also a part of it, Mayur? Like, see, when when you think of somebody, immediately that person is called, or there's a message or something from that person. How do you explain telepathy?
Okay. Now, I let me be very honest with you, like I've always been, because I'm on candid me now. So
Yeah,
let me say this:
yeah,
that 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 uh, a person who practices genuinely any form of meditation, it could
mm,
be mantra japa, it could
mm,
be whatever, it could be just practicing breathing practices, any form of meditation continuously, that person is able to, Meena, able
yeah,
to um, elevate the sensitivity to such an extent that his intuitive powers and even telepathic powers reach a point where they can connect with another person. For
yeah,
example, that person is able to,
mm,
like a frequency, it can
mm,
match another person's frequency.
mm,
Now, listen to this carefully.
mm,
If a person's frequency is very high, that person is able to even understand what the other person is thinking, like an intuition,
mm,
and he may just not even realize it, but he's able
yeah,
to pick up. Oh, I know what you're saying, I know what you're thinking. I knew what you were going to say. That kind of stuff happens. If a person is going much ahead, I believe that's where the answer to your question comes. That person is able to also connect to the spirit world. That's where that's what sometimes advanced tantrics are able to do.
yeah,
They use vibrations. They go away from this world. They say
mm,
some things which are Om Haim Hrim Shra Swaha, Om Dha Sa Dha Sa, and there are specific mantras. I'm only trying to tell you how it sounds. I'm not
yeah,
trying to please make fun of it, because but like, if you hear it, it sounds like that. Like Swaha. That, so when they say it in a particular intonation, so they're able to intelligently connect with certain energies somewhere out there which we cannot,
yeah,
and therefore telepathy, in that sense, yes, it can, if you know how to use it. It's like
yeah,
if you know how to use a particular technology, you can connect with people, isn't it?
yeah,
Similarly, if you
absolutely.
can use telepathy as a technology, you can connect with
Yeah,
different frequencies beyond. Why
yeah,
just Earth?
yeah,
I'm trying to
absolutely.
work on that. I want to work. For me, Lord Shiva is traveling right now.
Mm,
He's not on Earth.
mm,
He's just like my father used to travel to
mm,
Bhopal and this and that place. My mom
mm,
used to say he's traveling. Shiva is traveling. But if I want to connect, I'm yet not able to. But if I can use some ways by which I can connect, I can. Even Babaji,
mm.
Mahavatar Babaji, if you practice meditation intense, you can connect. I'm I've
Uh,
I felt a presence. So yeah, a lot of things. Yeah.
Mayur, how old do you think Babaji would be now?
Well, if I were to put a number to Babaji, that will be an insult to his age. Let me say this: from whatever I've understood, Babaji is one of the most advanced yogis across Earth, not just on Earth. Which means he's able to, if he wants to, he can, have himself in that same form without the form aging. So please understand, Meena, time. space,
mm,
causation,
mm,
age is what we humans think is true. It isn't for them. For Lord Shiva, for Babaji, Mahavatar Babaji, they just can leave this body and come back into the body if they want to.
mm,
Because that is the kind of level of science they've reached in terms of yoga. That, we think, oh, I'm getting old. Look at look at anybody who is okay. I see that Shilpa is writing Babaji is 839 years old. When I meet him, I will ask, and I'm sure there's some reasoning behind this. But I can tell you, Babaji is a person who's mastered, like Karthik says, different siddhis.
yes.
Can I shock you with one thing?
Mm,
How many chakras are there? How many chakras? Seven typically.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
Mooladhara,
yeah.
Mooladhara, Swadhisthana,
Mm,
Anahata, Ajna Chakra, Vishuddhi, and then
mm,
Sahasrara. There are three more chakras or more chakras.
mm,
There's one chakra out here higher, which if you practice, you can even do teleportation.
mm,
You can teleport.
yeah.
You can leave this body and go somewhere.
Mm,
So imagine Mahavadar Babaji is gone beyond that as well. So
yes.
they don't have an age. They don't
Mm,
have an age. There's no number. There's no
mm,
number to that.
yeah.
He's lived.
Interesting.
He's lived on different planets.
Yeah.
Can I say this? He's lived on
Yeah.
different planets. Yeah.
May has written an interesting point. I just wrote about ghosts I saw, which took away 3 lives from my family. So we were made to leave the bungalow. Actually, we were warned when we bought the bungalow that it's a haunted place. The,
Wow.
yeah.
But that's I'm really sorry to like know about this, because when somebody loses his life, it's very tough, right? Naturally,
Mm,
yeah, it's a human being, it's a human form, or any entity for that matter.
mm,
um but I'll tell you this, that negative paranormal activity can have effects on the minds of a person, to the extent that they can influence that person to do things that can make them take their own life.
yes.
It's not direct. It's not
Yeah.
direct.
Yeah.
It's not direct. I'm getting my point,
Yeah.
even to the viewer. It's not
Yeah.
direct. It's the directness is in movies. In
Yeah.
real sense, it can make, if you're not, and nothing to do with that person's question or the family members. That's why. That is why the guru says you do your japa, or the guru, not just my guru, any guru, right? Meena, you know what I'm talking about. Always do meditation. Do
Yeah.
meditation. Come closer to God. Come closer to God, because that will strengthen you. When you're stronger, how can anybody? It's a repellent. Nobody can
Yeah.
come close to you. But if you're weak, they manifest. They're ready to to sort of claw into your mind, and
Yeah.
they will not hurt you. There are instances where there are claw marks on the body as well, huh?
Mm,
There are claw marks
mm,
as well. So that's the poltergeist activity, where they're
yeah.
so strong they can, but very rarely. Most of the times they can affect the mind, and
Yeah.
that is dangerous.
Yeah. Also, I just want to ask you one question, Mayur. See, when you meditate, uh, do
Yeah.
you see, when you're deep into meditation, do you see sort of thick black clouds coming in and then being replaced by green clouds? And then after that, you see a blue light, and that goes, zooms into a small eye, you know, the blue color
So,
goes, and, yeah,
sure. I let me be honest.
yeah,
Thanks, you get me on candid, Meena. So it's so beautiful to be honest. I can only see my guru. Yeah, I see my guru. I see my guru, and what happens to some of us. I don't want to sound like I'm talking about myself. It's a little egotistical
yeah,
for me.
yeah,
But in certain experiences, you lose track of time and space. Literally, your head just falls to that. And you don't
yeah,
realize what's happening.
yeah,
Uh, I used to try. Somebody said that if you meditate very intensely on Babaji, he will be appear. Okay, this was
mm,
in 1998. I used
mm,
to wake up at 3 o'clock and do that just to see
mm,
whether he will appear. And this was in Mahim in Dadar in Mumbai. I used to be bitten by mosquitoes
yeah,
uh, because I used to sit in a kitchen area where a small house, so kitchen area, and we used to have a devghar. I used to sit down only with the earnestness that, and I used to visualize. So I was told, if you visualize Babaji, he'll appear, and you won't believe it. Once I actually felt, but it was a feeling. My point is, I don't know colors or whatever, but because I'm so at the feet of my guru. So when I'm doing my japa as well, I visualize my guru. And I was always told, visualize the moving picture of the guru, not just the
Yeah,
static picture,
yeah,
like he's
yeah,
doing some puja, because
mm,
it becomes more strong. But
mm,
colors do have their role, Amina.
yeah,
They do have their role.
mm,
Blue, for example, white, for example,
mm,
they do have a role which can influence the mind as well,
yeah,
but I haven't seen more than that.
mm,
I only see,
mm,
I love to see my Swamiji in my meditation.
yeah. Aparna is asking, when a
Yeah.
person takes rebirth, still they remain as ghosts in their past life. Can you explain?
When a person takes rebirth, I don't know. When a person takes rebirth, like when the person's soul, Aparna, see, how do I look at it? Again, just please, just acknowledge my view. Don't accept it. Is when a person, passes on, right? That soul needs, if it has something more to do, so it will need a body. It will need a vessel, okay, to fulfill the desires which are still there. So it will be taking a vessel in the form of a baby, which will grow. In that between that part where the person dies, the soul is hanging for some time.
Mm,
That could be a part where it is in the spirit world, like a ghost.
yeah,
But once it takes a rebirth,
mm,
when it's born again, I personally think that it doesn't become a ghost, because logically I'm not sure about it,
mm,
because it's taken a form. It's
yeah,
like, uh, between two jobs, what are you doing? I'm not doing, I'm
mm,
just floating here and there. Mayur, no job, yeah. Okay, you're a ghost that way. So when you get a job, you're back into action. That way, something like that. So that's my
yeah,
answer to a question.
yeah. Ruby is saying, can kindly see if we could have a session on Friday and allow fellow members to join in to share their experiences, please, with Mayurji being the constant. It's
That's
up to
Meena.
Mayur. I mean, I'm
It's a
fine.
it's a compliment to Meena, actually, that
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
so pleasantly, excited to join in. See, listen, viewers, I speak from my heart. I've told Meena I'm not a Google person. I don't like to give gyan. I can give gyan,
mm,
lot of gyan. You can do the same,
yeah,
right, Amina? What's the point here?
mm,
This mobile is right here. Yeah, I can say,
yeah,
oh yeah, there are 10 types of ghosts, and hey, come on, I will tell you what I feel and what I've experienced. And I told Meena as well, viewers, that I will talk about topics which I feel like I've either experienced or I know others who I know very well have experienced. And then it comes from the heart now.
mm,
And I love to talk to Meena as well, because it's very natural. And when she's having Lord Shiva behind her, and I have Lord Shiva in me, what else do we want here? Har Har Mahadev, you know. So if it works out, Meena, we could do that as well. Yeah,
yeah,
why
we can
not? You know,
discuss
it'll
that.
be fun.
Yes. There's
Yeah, yeah,
another
yeah.
lady who's saying, it's Vishal, so it's a man. Good evening, ma'am. Would it be possible to get in touch with Mayur, as my family, wife, and daughter have been through a lot over the last 10 years and we do not know how to overcome it?
Uh, Meena, you there?
Yeah, yeah. And
Meena, I can just say that I mean, I take that as a very heartfelt emotion from Vishal. Vishal, if you're watching, listen, I'm a student here. I'm just a student, and I'm a student, and I'm also part of Star Trek. Okay, if you watch Star Trek, I love to explore. I want to go to places where no man or woman has gone before. Um, some person asked me, Vishal, where are you from? I said I'm from Earth, mostly, because I would love to explore. But if with what you've been through, I will pray. I'll honestly pray, and I would love to have a conversation with you, Vishal, definitely as a friend. um, I'm not an expert or anything, because I'm only a sailor, like all of us are, right, Meena? We are all sailing in the same boat here.
yeah, yeah,
I have some things which, Meena, you are very generous and kind enough to feel that I can come and share. It's because of my genuine connection to my guru and my Kailash Mansarovar trip and my meditation. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to come here. Otherwise, I'll become like many people who come and, not here, I'm sorry, but anywhere, and they talk. They talk a lot, and that's great. Um, for me, I would love to. I mean, even Alexa, Amazon Alexa talks a lot, by the way. You ask her, are there spirits? They'll tell you 10 things about spirits. So if you ask about
no,
mythology, there
is
are 20 things she'll tell
Alexa
me.
Amitabh Bachchan or?
No, it's a lady. It's an old Alexa. But I think, Meena, what I think I feel very touched is, Vishal, and pranams to you, Vishal, is, for what you've gone through, please feel free to talk to me as a friend.
Yeah, yeah,
As a friend, I'll be there, but nothing more than a friend. As a spiritual friend, I'll speak from my heart.
yeah,
And sometimes, it's good to talk and listen to. I'll be
yeah,
more than happy, if I can do that for him.
yeah. So, on that note, shall we close the session?
Yeah, time flows, man. I just can't believe it's 9:27.
Yes.
And I came to Borivali here, but I still had to bring
Oh,
this.
yes, please, please.
Yeah. So I'm going to play this as a way
Yeah,
to thank you,
please.
Meena, and to all the viewers, uh, to wish them a happy life.
Yeah,
I'm going to play once again. If
yeah,
I can request all of you to close your eyes and
yeah.
feel this, and then I'll chant a small little stotra as well. Om जाग्रत्स्वप्नसुषुप्तिषुस्फुटतराया संविदजृम्भ्रते या ब्रह्मादिपिपीलिकान्तुतनुषु प्रोता जगत्साक्षिणी सैवाहं न च दृश्यवस्थितदृढप्रज्ञापि यस्यास्ति चेत् चाण्डालोऽस्तु स तु द्विजोऽस्तु गुरुरित् येषा मनीषा मम ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Meena, thank you very much. Let me tell
Thank
you one
you.
thing. Uh, I come to the show. The topic is only an excuse. I just love to come and say hi to you and to all
Yeah,
the viewers. Karthik and many others.
yes.
Karthik is like somebody who's just impacted my mind a lot in a good way.
Yeah.
I do want to request, Mayur, you're my Gotra brother. If I can take the lib, of course. आणि तुला कोंकणी उलयत हांव कशें तूं शिल्पा तुका first time to because I see her asking questions, but
Yeah.
I will say, Shilpa, to collect questions asle vichari, and we are all blessed to have a guru like our guru, and to have such lovely opportunities through Meena. Honest to God, because podcasts with such topics, Meena, will help people to enjoy listening and explore more, isn't it? Because there are so many things happening around the world. You
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself have so many topics to talk
Yeah.
about. I do I do hope, Meena, that people will. I hope you're reading the book. I hope you're still
Yes,
on it.
yes, 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 yes. And it's very interesting. And I'm sure a lot more people will be buying it because, see, it's not the kind of books that you find around. There's something so intense, and
I have to say
everybody should
this.
read it.
Uh, I have to say this. There's a friend of yours. There's a person who's watching Candid Meena. She saw my podcast with you. She bought the book in US.
Oh, how nice.
She's made a mother buy the book in Pune.
Yeah.
She's introduced me to Stanford University
Oh,
for a
great.
radio
Great.
show.
Oh,
Thanks to
it's
you,
really good.
because she came and
Oh,
saw our
no, no, no.
podcast.
This is all you. You don't even give me the
Stanford.
credit
I mean, in the
first.
sense,
You are so good
you
at what
see,
you
if
do.
I wasn't here with you, it would
Yeah.
not have. So that way. So thank you. I mean, I of course did my part, but if you would not have brought me here, how she would have known. So thanks to
Yeah.
you. We all have
Yes.
our
Thank you.
credits now. So
Yeah.
thanks to you. And Stanford is one. Maharashtra Mandal in US, another one. And another lady who does her own talk show, and she's spoken about me just after reading the book. She says, Mayur, I can't. Sometimes I'm in tears. I don't know what to do. I'm not able to understand, and I'm like, I don't know what to say, because I've not had anybody say that I'm in tears and all. So I first asked her, is it that bad? I was just pulling a leg. So she said, no, 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 it's about Aghoris, and the way you depicted them, I feel more people should know about them. So
Yeah.
thanks to you, Meena, that people are able to at least explore the book. And I, to all the viewers, I'm not saying you should buy the book. At least go and explore the
Yeah.
blurb. Go and explore the story. Read the reviews, and make up your own mind. And I
Absolutely.
think Aghoris need their own identity, because
Mm.
they're also Hindus, yeah, they're also sages, and they do their bit.
Mm.
Just because they look different doesn't mean that we shun them away,
Yeah,
and that's what I've done in the book. You'll enjoy it as well. So
yeah.
from my side, yeah, Jayashree, thanks for what you
I think
said.
there are lots of
So
messages.
sweet.
I can't put all of them. Everybody is wishing you, they're all so
Yeah.
happy. They're all so happy.
Maybe we should have Meena, we should have a
Huh.
meetup.
Yes,
If I'm in
yes,
Bangalore, for all
yes.
the people in Bangalore, we should meet
Yeah,
for a nice Mysore coffee.
yes, yes.
ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ನೀವು?
Absolutely. Yeah,
ಸರಿ ಉಂಟು ಅಲ್ಲ?
we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah. Thank you so much,
All right.
Mayur.
I'm
My
done from
regards
my
to your
side. Thank you
family as
very
well.
much. Thank you so much. I will pass your regards to my mom,
Yeah,
especially.
yeah,
I might leave actually right now. It's 9:30, maybe 10:30, 11. I'll just go
yeah.
catch a Uber and go, because she's a little
Huh.
scary now, because
I get
Mayur, are you coming today? Are you coming today? So I'll probably go today as well.
yeah,
Or I may just leave early morning at 5, because
yeah,
she's 76, she's alone right now. So I don't
yeah.
want to leave her there. But love you all. Yeah. Meena, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And good night.
Okay, good night.
We'll see
See you,
you next week.
everybody. Love you all.
Yeah. Good night.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Bye.
Bye.